I also can prophesize the future. And I also can see subliminal messaging.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Miss Pillsbury's slow, girl.
Well, really? I'm pretty sure I could truck the shit out of you fucking overgrown baby.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
I'm the greatest track talker on the fucking face of the earth right now.
Possibility of women playing in the league, I don't think it's impossible.
You fucking cunt-ass bitch!
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still gonna
I'm fucking real, bro. You ain't shit.
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper, please.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
I'd rather watch softcore porn than have to watch all that.
No, that's like open. And if you're there, you gotta cross it.
Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck? Get this dude out of here, bro.
No, U.S. is far better than Oklahoma historically.
How about your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets? I promise you that.
Okay.
Oh shit, this has turned into Kane Arthur's drug class.
How long?
They need you back at the cash register in 5 minutes.
Well, Tiggy's lifetime minus the entertainment value.
Smack over.
Smacking Off the podcast is starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smacking Off the podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer. Doug, what's up?
61 days.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there thinking about it on the porch a minute ago before the show, how many days we have till
my tattoo fade off.
Yeah. You're Georgia tattoo?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, 61 days till college football. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. That's probably that week before the actual games kick in, where there's actually one good game, I think, during that weekend is Miami and Florida.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, that was a huge matchup. And this year, I don't know. It kind of, now that Rick's gone, now that we have Taggart over at Florida, doing his thing, made a somewhat impressive showing last year. I got some hopes up down there.
Hey, Taggart?
Yeah, a little bit. Wow.
He got his ass handed. I mean, that was...
I'm not talking about the rest of the nation. I'm talking about Florida nation.
He did actually almost beat Miami. I guess that was kind of impressive.
Yeah. So, he's got his chance again. Rematch.
Yeah. He plays Florida sorry, Miami and Florida.
Yeah.
Florida State. Man, you got me all confused here.
Oh, because I said Taggart, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, sorry, I meant Mullen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Mullen.
Yeah. Mullen's got him, I don't know, I fuck I said Taggart. They're trying to get rid of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, already. That honeymoon was short.
What's going on, Sean Devine, Robert, Arthur? That's the only people who have actually spoken.
Well, there's going to be more people speak.
Other people to speak.
If you're listening to us, you can join us over at #FamilySmack. We'll have a little chat going on. Well, no, this chat's coming from Smacking Off the Podcast. I don't know, we have so much going on these days. So get over and Smacking Off the Podcast. If you're not already, everybody needs to like our page because, it seems like we have a much larger listenership than we actually have people that, frequent our podcast page, which we really don't do much with, to be quite honest. It's really all about #family.
It really depends on who we have on. When we had Trump on, we were loaded. Yeah. There was people everywhere.
True. But, Trump is, I don't know, he kind of cut us off like he's cutting some of those other people
off. He's busy and he's hard to get on.
Yeah. Steve Bannon. Remember Alex Jones was really, I think he was like the first quasi-mainstream guy that came out and supported Trump, and look where he's at now.
Mm-hmm. And he supported the podcast, too, so...
Yeah, this is true.
The podcast is right where Alex Jones was.
I think our podcast is doing better than InfoWars these days.
We're allowed on YouTube.
Yeah, this is... take that, Alex Jones.
Oh, shit.
I want him to dog cuss us on his podcast. That would be awesome if he dog cussed us like he's dog cussing those lawyers. You heard that he's in the big trouble with apparently the lawsuit that he's involved in or something like that. He sent over some documents, and the documents happen to contain a little bit of internet porn, which is totally understandable, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. So, yeah, friends in high places, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I didn't see Austin Parish online yet.
Oh, well, that's no good.
I will cut that and go to Tiggy first, if I don't see Austin Parish.
Yeah, Tiggy Domz is making his repeat appearance to Smashing Off the podcast. Tiggy pulled a Tiggy recently. Tiggy is definitely internet troll extraordinaire. It's I don't know, it's him and Pike locked in a close race, and then it's all the rest of us as far as the absolute trolls in the Smack universe. I guess I'm hard pressed to think of two. Maybe Teddy's getting up there. Teddy's climbed the ranks quite a bit, but
every time Teddy makes a video, that's the thing.
Yeah, Teddy's on a
he's on a video hiatus right now. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, when's the last Teddy video?
It's been a minute.
It was a great one. I think the last one's the one where he finally flushed Pike down the toilet.
Yeah. And then Pike, and I don't think any of us have heard from Pike since then.
He's delivering pizza now, I think. So I heard something about
No, not delivering pizzas. He's cleaning carpets.
Cleaning pizza off the carpets.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's other things too. Pizza. I don't know. I did chicken parm tonight.
You did?
Yeah, it's pizza-like. It had mozzarella and it had the sauce and it had lots of carbs.
You ever made it and just put it on buns?
No,
chicken parm on buns is good.
No, I make bread to go with it. I make cheesy bread to go with it.
Chicken parm sandwiches are delicious.
I mean, they might be in your household, but...
No, I do chicken parm too.
What Shannon does is a little different. We ought to have a parm off. You make your parm, I'll make my parm. We get everybody. We got to get objective people, though. We can't have our family members judge.
I'll do rabbit parm.
Is Chris still in the neighborhood? If we can get Chris in the neighborhood, that'd be great.
All right.
That was the crazy neighbor. I don't know if we talked about him on air or not. No, I think we've discussed him a little bit. Poor Chris. Bad guy.
All right, so where is Austin at?
I don't know. What were we going to talk to Austin about? We'll go ahead and start the conversation without him.
Those Arizona State Sun Devils.
Who?
Arizona State.
Isn't that someone?
That's Herm Edwards.
No, someone went to Arizona. Yeah. That's how much I know about Pac football. Well, I know a little bit. We've had, when are we going to get Sky at a station back on?
He will be representing, he'll be one of the 4 representatives of the PAC.
So we get to actually talk to him on a regular basis. This is probably going to be some of the most epic podcasting ever.
Could be.
It could be. Sky and myself, we go way back. Way back.
Bill or eggplant parm also good, yeah?
We were talking about Formaggio's. You remember Formaggio's, the Italian place that was run by the Arab dudes over in Southside? No, seriously, it was. They had 2 Arab dudes running this Italian place.
Nobody could make Italian off those.
And when it came time for Birmingham late night to, eat a little bit of food so they could make that last little leg home, somewhat sober, it was either Formaggio's, Purple Onion, or Al's Late Night. And Purple Onion and Al's Late Night were actually more geared toward Mediterranean food, and they decided to go ahead and break off from that and do the Italian thing. The reason I loved it so much is they had a bar there. So you could sit and wait on your food and just get blistered, especially if you were tipping the bartender.
You could do that back at the old, what the hell is it called? They still got one over in Gardendale.
Not Carnegie, Pasquale's. Pasquale's, yeah. It's funny because I was always making the chicken parm tonight. Pasquale's has this ungodly, it can't be good for you. Like this bread that is the garlic bread that is soaked in butter. And I mean, when you pick it up, it's like the whole thing is the whole thing is saturated with butter. Have you ever had those? If you go to the lunch buffet, and that's really the only reason to go to lunch buffet, and it's like crappy, Totino's pizza and shit up there. Yeah, no, the dripping bread. Yeah, you eat like 4 of those and you're full. And of course, I always eat like 9. So I'm probably going to die I'm probably going to die on air here in the next few months. So
on air?
There's that. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I don't know. We were supposed to have Austin Parish on. Austin Parish is apparently, he was going to talk about Arizona State. We're going to talk a little Pac football. So I guess Tiggy's going to have to carry the Pac load tonight. He usually does. Tiggy, it's usually Tiggy and everybody else, but I don't know. I got a feeling Sky's appearances here on Smacking Off the Podcast are going to be epic. Every one of them. We'll talk about that one time when he got lost. Because we need to go ahead and get that right out of the gate. I mean, that's been discussed ad nauseum in the group. And hey, that motherfucker handled it like a champ, if you think about it. I mean, as far as all of the other, situations we've all had back and forth in smack groups, yeah, he took that one on the chin and kept rolling. So, God bless him. I don't know. I think it's going to work out. I really do. I have a good feeling about this contract you signed with this young man.
With Sky?
Yeah. Can he drink now?
He's
okay. Excellent. We need to require him to get drunk on air. So we're going to go ahead and hit up Tiggy Domz and see what he's got going on.
We're going to try.
In the Tiggy universe. Tiggy. What it do?
Yo, what's good, bro?
You, brother. First off, how's your summer been so far? What are we, like,
That's
3 days into summer?
Pretty good. How about you, dude?
Man, I can't complain. I haven't hit the beach yet, so I'm kind of pissed off about that. I really haven't seen any body of water other than my bathtub in quite some time. Well, or
you'll have
another
to go down to Cherokee Beach down there below Bessemer.
Didn't somebody die there?
Somebody's died everywhere, dude.
Yeah, this is true. Tiggy, you pulled a fast one. Let's hear about your latest troll because it was delicious.
Dude,
and nutritious.
Crazy, man. Yeah, so I ended up doing it because I thought that I'll get some pretty good reactions from some Nebraska fans. Let me backtrack, all right?
Yeah.
Let me start from the beginning, okay? So I made this graphic, all right, basically calling out Nebraska for being absolutely awful last year, all right? Because they were awful. They were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just slapped a random source on there, right? Because I always have to say, via this source, make it look more legit, right? Just chose a random CBS affiliate in Denver, all right? This is relevant to the story later. And basically, I just slapped into a Bleacher Report logo and I just posted up in some groups, right? So I posted in the Nebraska group, man, just because they have so many members, bro. So many members. It was free real estate, right? I posted up there, got so many reactions, so many comments. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
I've done that so many times, man. I've gone to groups, I just post some fake shit, gets a lot of reactions, a lot of comments. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the juicy part. So I posted it on Twitter, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm a genius. I'm kind of a genius, in my opinion, all right? So I went onto my alt account, right? So I have 2 Twitter accounts, right? Alt account. You know what I do? I tag the player I put in the post. I tag him on that account. I'm like, wow, man. I can't believe you would say something like this, dude. Lost a lot of And, of course, it's
a total fabrication, mind you. And what exactly was it that you said?
I think I said something. So the player I put, his name's Laviska Chenault. Pretty good wide receiver if you follow, college football in general. You might have heard of him. I think I put something along the lines of, something like, I'm a beast. I'm going to destroy Nebraska next season. Nebraska's garbage. Something like that, general whatever. And, now, he saw this post because it's, the off season. He's probably, his mentions probably
chilling. It's summer, Yeah.
Yeah. He saw this, and he could have very easily just ignored it, But what he did kind of blew the whole thing up. He ended up retweeting it, or I guess quote tweeting it. If you're not familiar with Twitter, that's basically when you retweet the tweet. So it shows the original tweet. It shows my tweet. But then you can add your own caption to it, right?
Yeah.
And his caption was, man, this is fake, or something like that, right? And now this was good for my post, right? Because now all of his followers were going to see my post that they weren't going to originally see. Because I had 200 followers. No one follows me on Twitter, right? I have no clout. It's tough.
You have no Twitter clout.
Twitter clout is tough, and actually, if you do have Twitter clout, you can get paid. I mean, you can make that pretty much a side gig.
For real, yeah. That's why I gotta get some clout. This is
true.
The way to get clout on Twitter.
Yes.
But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so he retweets it, right? And that's amazing, right? I think his tweet got just under 1K likes, or a bunch of retweets. Some more people saw it, so that's awesome, right? And, for the most part, I think most of my replies were, angry Colorado fans, right? So I was fighting a war on like two fronts. I had the angry Nebraska fans, and I had the angry Colorado fans. And, I was just kind of, I was kind of laughing. They were calling it fake. They were pretty mad, right? And then, like, I guess since Laviska's like a football player, right? He's followed by these media outlets.
Yeah.
Just so happened that the source I cited, CBS affiliate in Denver, just happened to follow him, like the leader or like editor or some shit, So he slides in my DMs, all right. He's saying something like, take down this tweet, Let me load this DM up right now here. He says something like, take down this tweet and whatever. And I kind of play along as like a dumb fan,
Yeah.
Like, I have no clue what's going on, dude. I just got this off Facebook, man. I'm just trying to reshare for the community. But yeah, he says, please take down this tweet. It credits us as a source, and he never said that to us. I don't know where you got this, but you should send out a tweet saying it's not true. So, I said, I got it off of a Nebraska group. I'm just reposting on Twitter. Now, this is fucking bullshit. I posted on that big Nebraska group, and I said, also, it has the Bleacher Report logo. It has their logo. So I don't think it's fake, because that's the logo.
Oh, my God.
He wasn't very happy.
I so appreciate this.
Yeah, he wasn't very happy. He's saying, I'm telling you it's false. We haven't spoken to Laviska since last season. He never said that to us. I run the sports department here. I said, well, that's very interesting. And I said, I'll take it down when the fan page when the Nebraska fan page takes it down. Obviously, I wasn't going to take it down because I was the one that posted on the Nebraska fan page, Same difference. And the next thing he says is really funny. He says, so let me get this straight. You won't believe the managing editor of sports at the station being credited rather than the fan page where Tom, Dick, or Harry can post whatever they want. Hell of an organization you got there. And I said, well, lots of people follow the Nebraska page. I think it has 76,000 members. And he says, so what? And just kind of going back and forth and whatnot. And then the craziest thing happens, all right? I don't know which intern was working this day at the Pac-12 network, all right? I'm not sure, They didn't really look at what they were doing, right? They accidentally liked my tweet.
Oh, wow.
And keep in mind, this is the verified page. But, I couldn't believe it when I got the notification. Pac-12 Networks liked your tweet about Laviska Shenault. I went to their page, verified, 200K followers, crazy stuff. So I took a screenshot of that, and I sent it to him. I'm like, well, the Pac-12 Network just verified it.
Oh, man, and you got to understand how uptight radio and TV people are. For him to even contact you to begin with, that right there, that was a jackpot. And then it just gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he was just very, very mad, And I just kept acting really stupid. He kept saying, he wrote me like a whole essay here. He says, don't be some stupid fan that was photoshopped. There was no press conference. Don't be like a clickbaiter or something.
But he's like still trying to talk you out of it instead of just saying, dude, that's fucking bullshit, and just leaving it at that. It's like he's trying to sell you on the idea that, no, dude, no, I'm serious. This is some bullshit. Let me explain why,
For real. And I just kept acting stupid, and he kept buying it. I don't know why. So I'm like, well, then where did that quote come from? He says, a stupid fan, they made it up. And I said, isn't that illegal? And then he writes me another paragraph saying someone can post whatever they want. Just because you read it doesn't make it true. And then, I kept acting stupid. I said, I think whoever made that graphic should be fired.
Absolutely.
Because if Laviska didn't say it, they shouldn't be saying he said it. And he didn't respond back. He still thinks I'm really stupid, but,
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Can you tell me this, Tiggy? What do you got against Nebraska? Why are you fucking with Nebraska?
Yeah, seriously, you've rolled really, really, ultra hard in the paint. You're like Harvey Updike hard in the paint with this shit, man. You're hurting feelings.
I think Nebraska is just such an easy target, right? They have a huge fan base because let's be honest here, okay? You live in Nebraska. What else are you going to do but watch college football, okay? I got him last year with the Scott Frost shoes, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. I can never forget that one.
That was a good one, yeah. And then I got him this year with the just because their groups are so big, their fans are so gullible, honestly. When I posted the quote, no one was even calling it fake. for at least like half an hour. I got maybe 100 likes before anyone called it fake. And if someone calls it fake, I do. I just go to their profile and I block them. I don't have to worry about them again.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
you got to get those negative people out of your life.
Yeah. You don't need that kind of negativity. That'll ruin your clout. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I don't really have a problem with Nebraska. They just make themselves too easy of a target.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, the whole thing's crazy, obviously.
And this is 2 times in a row you've done this, and what? Oh, what are we talking about? Like a 8 month span? 6 month span? Yeah.
Before I think I got my Chris Peterson quote onto CBS, Gary Danielson. That was kind of crazy. That was unexpected.
Really what was that? What was the quote?
I think the quote was something along the lines. So Washington, I think we were 6-2 at the time.
Yeah.
And Alabama was 8-0. I think did you guys go undefeated?
Regular season.
Undefeated until the national. So we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, so you guys were 8-0. And I think the graphic was something along the lines of Chris Peterson saying that Washington would also be 8-0 if they had Alabama's schedule.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. And I don't know how he saw it. I don't think he necessarily. I think someone else stole it from me and repost on Twitter. Same difference. Right?
You know what you're doing, Tiggy. You're putting out stuff that people want people to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're saying what's on everybody's tongue.
Right, and they see it, and they see it, and they're like, no, that can't be not true. That's got to be real.
Because that's the way I think.
Right.
Yeah, and after that, he talked about it. It was crazy. I remember someone tagged me in the group and told me about it. I watched I watched a replay of it, and I saw it, and I laughed. That was funny to me that he would actually believe that. And he would actually say on a big sports broadcast, nationwide broadcast for everyone to hear,
Yeah.
Without verifying the facts. But it's okay, And, I think what you mentioned earlier about, me just posting stuff that people want to hear. Let's be honest, all right? That's just how you get, that's how you get people to believe this shit. I don't know if you've seen my what I did yesterday.
No, I hadn't seen it yet. I hadn't been on very much this weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so I produced a graphic, right? It says Chris Steele to transfer from USC. Now, I'm not too sure if you guys are really familiar with the drama that happened there with Chris Steele.
No.
No, not
enlighten us.
Really. Do you guys know who he is?
Yeah, Chris Steele's that one guy.
The one recruit, yeah. He was a pretty good recruit. Basically, this guy went to Florida. He said he was going to transfer, committed to Oregon, and then decommitted and went to USC. I'm not sure if you heard of him, Brew McCoy as well. You guys probably aren't too big into recruiting. This might not make as much sense to you guys. But Brew McCoy's another recruit. He committed to Texas, enrolled at Texas, and without playing a single game, he's now transferring to USC as well.
Wow.
So there was this big online debate in college football, right? Because it's the off season. Right, it's the off season.
As far as whether player, and I think I know what you're talking about as far as the debate back and forth as to whether players should be able to do this or not.
Yeah, people are transfer portal's broken. It's a really contentious topic right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also the players that are transferring, like Brew McCoy and Chris Steele, they're also pretty contentious issues as well, because people are well, these guys are soft, right? These guys are fucking California kids. They're soft players, all right, because they're transferring so much.
Yeah.
So I seized on this animosity feeling, right? I put out report USC DB Chris Steele plans to re-enter transfer portal and return to Florida per Bleacher Report. Realistic looking graphic and whatnot. And I think, let me see, my tweet is at about 180 likes, 40 retweets.
Yeah.
I got a quote retweet from a Florida commit. All right, so a bunch of Florida fans also liked it and tweeted and whatnot. So it did pretty good. It did better than the Chenault quote. I didn't get any media with this one. Right, that was unfortunate, but I did get some more clout off of this. And I think it just shows in our society, right? Or actually, let me not even talk about the society at this point. I think obviously, I think it did so good because a lot of Florida fans thought it would be funny, think of it like this, right? A player, he has never played it down in college, right? He goes to one school. He transfers to another school. And he transfers back to his first school. That'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, it'd be crazy, and then that would just spark even more debates about the transfer portal.
Right.
So, now, do you think that you've actually spoken this into existence? That'd be fucked up.
I know
yeah.
that the tweet got to Mr. Steele. Unfortunately, he didn't retweet it, but instead what's the right word? I guess he subtweeted it. So basically, what that means is he didn't he didn't retweet my tweet and give him more clout. But instead, when we load up his profile, he said something. He mentioned it. He said something like, "King." Here we go. His tweet, and I quote, "Y'all have to be bored right now." Laughing emoji. Fight on with that's like the fight on's the USC's little slogan.
So basically, he did everything he could to make sure he didn't give you clout and answer it directly, but in a sideways kind of way. That USC fans, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not going back to Florida.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a denial.
Exactly. Yeah. And I really tried with this graphic to get him to make the same mistake as Levis.
But I mean, look, hey, but in juxtaposition, the news director that you dealt with should take a message or lesson from this young fella, and I guess it's particularly when it comes to Twitter, Instagram, and some of the other things, because Facebook has kind of become an old folks' home lately. I mean, it really has been. The crowd on Facebook has gotten a lot older.
Sure. Right.
So yeah, but so much so that I'm probably going to break down, because I actually have a Twitter, and I've sent out 3 tweets.
Does Smacking Off need a Twitter?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it. Yeah, we're gonna have to, so we can get eventually banned from more than just one platform. They finally shut this shit down.
Yep.
So, oh man, well shit. What else is going on in your world, Tiggy? How you been?
Not too bad. Going back to this old Parish Steele situation. I really tried to get more clout, right?
Yeah.
I went on my trusty alt account, right? I think I tagged the player. I tagged the source I used on the quote, in the hopes that they would retweet it and say it's fake, right? Get some more clout. And I just tagged a bunch of USC and Florida media outlets, just trying to hope for a retweet. I wasn't lucky with that. That's okay, Still got a lot of traction. Aside from this, I think life in general is going pretty good. I started up a YouTube channel. I've been trying to get clout on that, right? I think nowadays, clout online maybe has more value than money. Have you thought about that?
Well, I mean, it definitely equals.
It can
money.
translate to money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And a huge pile of it. Remember the Catch Me Outside girl?
Yeah.
Shit, that girl's paid.
Yeah.
That girl has more money than you and I will ever see in our lifetime.
And the guy
combined.
from Huntsville.
Yeah.
That the Intruder song.
Bad Intruder. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that guy's amazing.
And ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
All of those people are paid.
Yeah.
Antoine Dotson got a house. I didn't get a house.
True.
Which I got a house. Yeah.
Yeah, we need a house. We all need a house. Well, shit. What else is there? I guess that's it. Tiggy Domz, ladies and gentlemen, the legend. Thank you so much for appearing on Smacking Off Podcast, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you very soon. We got quite a bit of football coming up.
That and
yeah, of course.
Who does Washington open with?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
What was that?
Who does Washington open with?
Who does Washington open? I think we open with Eastern, which is.
Great! We'll have to have a segment for the Washington Eastern Washington game.
So we need to find an Eastern Washington game.
Remember this.
Yeah.
Remember this.
Okay.
SEC teams.
Yeah.
No, remember this. SEC teams. They always play the worst FCS team. Eastern Washington won the national championship in the FCS last season. So we're playing the best team.
So this is kind of like the winner of the NIT playing, Duke or North Carolina.
Yeah, so we're basically, this is like the equivalent of playing like a Power 5 team, like a lower Power 5 team.
So how much is Washington going to beat them by?
I think since we're like an elite team and we're playing a lower Power 5 team level, we should win by like 30 or so.
Yeah, I think that would be. I would probably be a little disappointed if Washington didn't score 40 or more in that one.
You want to take a break before we get on, Austin?
Yeah, I think we should.
You got any parting shots, Mr. Domz?
Parting shots? Not necessarily shots, but I'd just like to mention that to everyone that said I wouldn't show up. Hey, look at this, dude. I haven't missed an appearance on this show in like a year.
And we have a new
It's been
system.
about a year.
We have a new system with Tiggy, and also when Tiggy has a story to tell,
well, he's a busy
he's going to
man
tell
too.
it.
We have to be fair. Tiggy's got a lot going on in his life.
I do love telling stories, man. Who doesn't, right? But it's not just a story. You know, I think that like my system is working. You know, I'm not missing anymore.
You're a man.
Tiggy, we deeply appreciate you coming on, and definitely look forward to coming back on again with your next troll.
Yeah.
Take care, brother.
You too, man. Peace out.
I can't type. I don't take dictation. I won't sharpen pencils. I can't file. My boss calls me indispensable.
Miss Jones,
Just a minute.
will you make a copy of this?
Naturally. I push the button on the Xerox 914. I make perfect copies of whatever my boss needs by just turning a knob and pushing a button. Anything he can see, I can copy in black and white on ordinary paper. And am I fast? I can make 7 copies in a minute. By the way, I never need wet chemicals. My 914 is a dry machine, powder dry. Sometimes my boss asks me which is the original, and sometimes I don't know. Here, Mr. Smith, I'm going to lunch with Mother.
You are now listening to Smacking Off the podcast. Tune in every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Fuck each and every one of you that don't.
Ooh, I'm good. Step away from the beer. Just stay calm. Step away from the beer. These hands are licensed weapons. Yeah, yeah, sha.
They were shooting a commercial for Labatt's Breweries. They had a storyboard. They didn't have any set design in mind. There was nothing. There was no illustration. They just came to me and said they wanted 5 Sasquatch, Bigfoot costumes, and were made in such a way that they could be snowboarded in. We love what we do.
Place your fresh cocaine. I'm gonna have to go undercover. Sweet mother of pearl.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. Doug's across from me, and we have Mr. Austin Parish on the line.
He's not.
How you doing,
he's
guys?
not. He's not a first-time guest. He's actually been on before.
I didn't say he was on for the first time.
Oh, I know, but I'm just
that.
telling everybody that.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he was on an NCAA.
It's been a while.
Tournament segment.
Yeah, it's been a while. How you doing, Austin?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
What's going on out in your world?
Out in the desert.
Out in the desert.
Just staying, just trying to stay cool out here. We jump in pools and drink cold beer to stay cool out here.
Yeah, that's a full-time job out that way.
Yeah, it's getting there. We also go, we travel a lot. We go up north. I don't know if you guys know anything about Arizona, but up north, only about an hour north, is pine trees and about 20-degree cooler weather. So that's always nice.
Now, I always thought Arizona was all one giant, big, huge, massive desert. And
everybody does. And then when they come here and they go up north, they're like, "Holy
you just
shit."
wander around in rags and just like
I'm pretty sure that Arizona has the most famous sheriff in the country, Joe Arpaio.
Yeah.
He's not the sheriff anymore. He got voted out.
Did he finally get voted out? I have not been keeping up with the.
That's the fake liberal media I got a hold of. Is what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I really.
They voted him out, and there's a new guy in now. So, but yeah, he was pretty famous. He's giving people, bologna sandwiches and pink. What do you call those?
Tough love.
Whatever
that's what that is.
Yeah, whatever
that's tough love.
Where he used to give them pink ones instead of orange ones or striped ones. He give them pink ones.
Yeah, little pink jumpsuits.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I want a pink jumpsuit.
That sounds kind of cool. It really does.
I'd like to see Amy Welch in a pink jumpsuit. Awesome. Where's she at? Anyways, okay. Well, Arizona. Well, we're here to talk to Mr. Parish about the Arizona State Sun Devils.
And Herm Edwards. And Herm Edwards, he had some decent years a while ago in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. True.
How long was he retired, Austin?
What's that?
How long was Herm retired?
I think he was retired like around 12 or 13 years. He worked for ESPN, doing, NFL analysis and stuff like that on.
What's his college?
Live and stuff like that.
That's a long time to be out of coaching.
It is, and what is his college experience other than?
From what I remember, he coached at. I think he coached at San Jose State as like a defensive backs coach or something like that. And then he got pulled right in. Like, he was really well connected. He was part of that Dick Vermeil tree branch.
Yeah.
And so Dick gave him an opportunity to coach because, he used to play for the Eagles. He played for the Eagles for, I think, about 9 years. And he got a job somehow through one of his contacts that Dick knew, in his coaching tree. And then he just stayed in the NFL, and eventually got, the head coach position at, for the Jets. And then moved on to Kansas City. And then after that, whenever he got fired from there, he just went and worked for ESPN and stayed there for a while. And then he actually knew the athletic director. ASU's athletic director is Ray Anderson. He used to be his agent whenever he was coaching in the NFL. And so Ray gave him a call and said that he wanted to kind of implement this. It's this saying that's down here now. It's like, quote unquote, the NFL model for a college program.
It would be an interesting and great story if he was to succeed there to the point where, if he was to win the pack, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's been forever. I to give you guys a little bit of background about me, I grew up around the country. I was born in Illinois. I moved to Pennsylvania, moved to Nevada. Then I came down here for college. And
were you a military brat?
I was not a military brat. My dad had a lot of job transfers. He was in sales.
Oh, okay.
So I got to see a lot of different parts of the country. And so that was kind of cool, but, it kind of sucked being the new kid every, 5 years, but, it's something you had to deal with. But then I moved down here, and I actually got recruited to play baseball for one of the local community colleges down here called Mesa Community College. They recruit nationally. And then when that time was up, I just, went to ASU and finished it out there. And so that's kind of a little background on me. So I am an alum, and I follow ASU sports a lot, just because I kind of grew up there. My parents went to ASU, so it's kind of a family thing. And I've been following them, and the last time that we experienced any kind of significant success, where we were playing for national championships, was way back when Jake Plummer, Pat Tillman, J.R. Redmond, who wound up playing for the Patriots for a number of years, when they went to the Rose Bowl and played Ohio State.
Man, y'all had a year in the 70s, and I want to say 1975, that Arizona State went 12-0, and actually they were awarded the national championship by one publication, I know.
Well, we still on record don't have any. They didn't. I don't know what publication it was. I haven't really done research on that. But.
Well, with UCF's recent success doing that, I would retroactively go back and make that claim now and go ahead and get in the books, because they're just passing them out like Andy.
Yeah, it don't bother me at all, because Oklahoma won it in 75, and it doesn't even affect Alabama whatsoever. Y'all can have that one in 75.
Yeah. But yeah, I and especially if we're going to slight Oklahoma in this deal, I say we go ahead and start this campaign now and give Arizona State what they're due. Oklahoma has enough. They have enough national.
Am I correct on the year? Is that 1975, Austin?
It was somewhere in there. Coach Cush, he was the one that kind of brought ASU to prominence back then. And my dad would tell me all these stories. When he was in college, ASU used to kick everybody's ass. And then I did some research and found out that was kind of true. And they wound up beating Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. They would be some really high profile.
It was 75, and they ended up. Hey, they have a better claim to the national championship in 75 than UCF's got.
There you go.
Or Oklahoma, you mean?
No, then UCF has.
Oh, then UCF has.
Yeah, because UCF's not even in the top 5 in the AP or the coaches poll in
well, that's because the system was rigged against them because there's only Power 5 and not a Power 6.
Maybe
that's what's going on here.
But Arizona State finished number 2 in both polls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their claim. It doesn't have anything.
They were kind of like ASU back in the day was kind of like Boise State is now. They came out of the WAC. They started in the Pac-12 in 1978, or Pac-10, I should say, Pac-10 in 1978, and they were kind of like the unknown Western team that no one really knew about, but they had a really good program playing out of the WAC. And Boise State's kind of like made that claim to fame recently that we've witnessed that whole Statue of Liberty play in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma, and then knocking off some pretty high profile teams every year. So that's kind of how they were back then in the 70s. And then it just kind of they would have good teams and they would do okay, but like I said, the last time that ASU had any kind of significance was back when Jake Plummer and Pat Tillman and some of those guys there were playing the Rose Bowl against Ohio State.
We got some great news for you. Actually, if you look on the Wikipedia page for the 1975 Arizona State Sun Devils, it shows that they remained perfect that season, that they finished number 2. And they were also selected as national champions by Sporting News, which we're not talking about some little podunk, down the road sporting publication. Sporting News has,
And it also says that was giving Arizona State their second
national championship, which I'm trying to figure out which was the other one that they're possibly they can lay a claim to.
I would love to know what national championship we won in football, because by my count we have 0.
I don't know. Wikipedia, which is the source of all things, all things in 2019.
Well,
right. That's accurate enough, right?
Well, I mean, everybody gives Wikipedia shit, but Wikipedia is a lot more.
It's very fast correcting when it's fucked up.
It really is, because there is a whole society of people that's what they do is look for problematic shit on Wikipedia, the hall monitors of the world. So I'm not saying that you need to believe every single last detail, but
correct it quicker than you can a book.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's definitely worth looking into. What is this?
This is okay. Unclaimed national championships, 1970 and 1975. So let me see. Okay, they went 11-0 in 70.
Wow. But they only finished in the coaches poll. They only finished 8th, and in the AP they finished 6th.
So that's very similar to UCF's claim, but
yeah. But
75 looks damn near legit.
Yeah, 75 I'd be raising a stink about, particularly because Oklahoma don't need any more national.
And Oklahoma State went back and claimed some shit from 1945 that. Nobody in their right fucking mind back in that day thought that anybody was better than Army.
Well, look, I'm sorry, but the fact that UCF gets to even make that kind of piddly-ass claim that they made opens Pandora's box wide open for a lot of different programs to go back and look year by year and see which one that they could possibly look toward. And all you have to have is any major publication, which they all pretty much. They were AP affiliated back in the day. They had clout,
Austin is correct too. In the late '90s, it was at 98 when Jake Plummer was there.
Yeah, that was the '96 season. Then obviously when it's New Year's Eve Bowl.
They were like one win away. Were they were one win away from winning it, wasn't
they? It was that year. It was Florida. Florida had a good year. I think that was when Warfel was the quarterback then.
Danny Warfel.
I could be wrong, but. It was Florida and ASU Was undefeated. They knocked off Nebraska, who was, the back-to-back national championships. They beat them 19-0 here in Tempe. And that really kind of put them on the map. And they just went through and just, finished out the Pac-10 schedule, undefeated. And then when they got to the Rose Bowl game, they went ahead with a couple of minutes left. And then after that, ironically enough, the quarterback for Ohio State, Joe Germain, actually grew up and was from Arizona in the Phoenix area. And he led them down the field, and there was a bunch of pass interference calls, and they just moved them right down the field. And David Boston caught the touchdown with, I think, about 52 seconds left in the game. And then, after that, ASU couldn't come back and answer, and that was it.
20
they would have won that
20
game.
to 17, too. That was a nail-biter.
And
yeah,
if this was CFP era, Arizona State they're probably the 4th seed in the CFP.
Yeah.
Because they were ranked number 4.
Yep.
After they beat Oklahoma, Arizona. Sorry, I really don't understand why they were number 4 at 11-0. I'd have to look at the AP.
Well, no,
poll.
they went into, and the way that I'm looking at this, they went into the Rose Bowl ranked 2nd in the nation. Ohio State was ranked 4th. If what I saw is correct.
Yeah.
But then again, we're looking on Wikipedia, right. So we have to take everything for.
Well, if that's the case, though, and that's probably actually true.
Yeah.
Then it was only the Rose Bowl contract with the Big that prevented them from going to the national championship game.
Mm-hmm. But though in the modern era, number 2 versus number 4, that's a BCS game. That's a playoff game.
They would have played Nebraska.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had a rematch.
Wow.
Wait, see, no, not Nebraska. Hold on, 96. No, it would have been Florida State.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
I think it would have been Florida State.
That sounds about right.
Looky here. December 2nd. Here's your number 1 is Florida State. Number 2, Arizona State. There's your national championship
game.
Yeah. Without the Rose Bowl mandate for the Big and the Pac to play each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they would have won that Rose Bowl, they probably would have either won it outright or they would have shared it with Florida, because I think Florida wound up beating Florida State.
They beat the hell out of them the second time.
Or Orange Bowl or something like that.
It was a close loss the first time, I think.
But, that would have been at least a shared for ASU on that one.
So, you entered this call. Think about this for a moment. You entered this call with no national championships. And now we've just hand delivered 2 national championships and making a claim for for a really good showing in '96. If that's not a relevant program, I don't know what is.
Hey, there you go. You Southern boys are very hospitable. We appreciate that.
We're passing them out like candy tonight. Fuck, I'll even give you at UCF. UCF, I'll lay off finally. I've been too hard on you on this. But yeah,
how many national championships can one college have? Just redistribute the wealth here.
Yeah, well, we're Alabama fans. You know how that works.
Yeah. You can give us some. You guys will win one probably next year. Come on.
Y'all were pretty good in '96.
I'm not. Look, I'm not going to guarantee. I'm not that kind of Alabama homer. I'm also very realistic, and I cannot deny what Clemson was able to do in that national championship game. That was special. And you have some of the key players in that. Maybe not on the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, you have those key players coming back that Alabama just simply had no answer for.
Yeah, that was. I did not see that happening at all. To be honest with you, I thought Alabama was going to win that game.
Well, that O line was really delicious too. Clemson's O line was just sick as fuck that day.
Sean, what happened with Oklahoma State? Where is it fake?
I think he was talking about the Oklahoma State reference you made earlier.
Yeah, when they went back and claimed 1945.
We need to get Anna Mary on here. Anna Mary can settle this right now. Yeah. Our resident Oklahoma State.
1945, Oklahoma State has not always claimed it, but now they're claiming it as a national championship.
They might as well.
It was 1945. Yeah. There's nobody alive from then.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
everybody is alive from then or babies. We're babies, so.
Yeah. They're 1 foot in the grave and headed to the old folks' home. They don't even remember that shit.
Nebraska was the champions in '96. Is that what Sean's trying to say? I know that's not true because we just looked it up. '95 they were.
Mm-hmm.
95,
yeah, I
they
remember
won,
the
I think,
'95
the year
team.
before.
Yeah,
They beat. They're still scoring on Florida.
yeah.
They were. I think they had like a 20-game win streak or 26-game win streak heading into Tempe that day, and yeah, that was one of the better wins for ASU in program history. And I think my cousin was at that game, and they said they freaking took down the goalposts and went down Mill Avenue. Mill Avenue is just right down the street from Sun Devil Stadium. That's where all the bars and party spots are, and they literally took that son of a bitch down there. And
oh, so they took the
really
goalpost for a drink too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was crazy back then.
Wow, those were the
it's
days. You
been
do
a
that
while
shit
for us,
now,
you
and
know?
they'll shoot your ass. I don't care what
Oh,
stadium
yeah.
you're in. Yeah.
Well, now they have them now where they're implanted in the ground, and they take them down like with some kind of a remote control, so you can't take the goalposts off the field anymore.
Yeah, well, and also too, Auburn will actually pull out fire hoses and fire hose your ass if you try some shit like that.
It's happened. That's a real story.
That's a real story. That really happened.
Damn.
Yeah, we don't play down here.
Georgia.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Georgia fans decided they were going to cut a little bit of the sod out.
No, you're not.
After beating Auburn on their own turf, and
I think it's very well documented that Auburn, the University of Auburn, is very they treat agriculture very seriously down there. Oh, Uncle Harvey.
Yep.
Did you see that profile in Family Smack the other day?
Yeah.
I swear to God, I thought that was him.
Maybe it is.
If it wasn't, it was one of the best troll jobs I've ever seen because that guy posted like an old guy, you know.
Maybe
the real Harvey Updike has possibly come up in hashtag Family Smack. Not a troll account, an honest to God, the real dude.
We'll get him on the show.
I hope so. God, I hope so. Is he allowed to be? Is he allowed to do that sort of thing now? Because you know he was banned from having any kind of broadcasting or interviews or anything like that for quite some time.
I don't know why. He's got clout now.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah,
that's
seriously though, if you want to talk about a hardcore college football fan, that's it right there. That is it. Not only just fuck your program,
but he didn't
kill.
What? But he didn't kill a single person.
But no, not at all. In fact, I want to say that because Auburn really so cares about the environment down there.
Yeah.
I want to say that he was actually able to save no telling how many thousands of trees by the rolls of toilet paper that they throw in there when they occasionally get a win.
Yep.
So yeah,
do you even know the story, Austin?
Do you remember when they caught fire to the toilet paper?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and about burning fucking trees down.
Yeah, that shit was burning.
So and that's what it was. They blamed that shit, the little piddly little ant pellets he put out there. They blamed that the trees dying from them setting it on fire on Harvey. It's been a conspiracy since day one, and I think we need to blow the fucking cover off this shit.
All right, so what's your Sun Devils going to do this year? I know you probably already said this in group, but
it's really tough to predict them this year because, like I said, there's the previous regime. He recruited pretty decently. He recruited some local guys. He recruited N'Keal Harry, who eventually went in the first round to New England this past draft, and he was a stud. And he got a couple other local studs that were going to go elsewhere. They might have went to Washington, or they might have went to Oregon or USC or someplace else that's a little more blue chip. And he got him to stay home, and he had a pretty good solid foundation. He gets fired, for going 7-5 in the Sun Bowl because the athletic director was just kind of tired of seeing that, which is good. I mean, that's literally how it's been ever since the Rose Bowl season. It's just been 7-5 in the Sun Bowl, 7-5 in the Sun Bowl. And so he's like, look, we got to get somebody in here that can just completely change this thing around and just kind of just.
But realistically though, do you think that Herm Edwards, with the long stretches he's had out of the coaching chair, I mean, do you think there might be a year or two of adjustment there before we can at least even get back to the 7-5, 8-4 seasons?
So they went
7-6
last
year. Yeah.
So to kind of give you guys an idea how it went last year, they went into the rivalry game against U of A. They showed up and they got down pretty big, and this was down in Tucson. And they came back. They were down 19 points in the fourth quarter. They came all the way back and won in regulation, 41-40. It was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And so they ended the year 7-5, and they wound up going to the Vegas Bowl, and that was their, that was the year. They wound up losing to Fresno State, who was ranked 20th, I think, at the time or whatever. They wound up losing, and there was a bunch of guys that were out, but they still lost, and so they wound up 7-6. So it was actually a pretty decent year. A lot of people around here, they didn't like the hire at all. They thought it was crazy. They thought that Ray was just kind of, hiring one of his boys, give him a job. But when I look at the recruiting that he's been doing, it's been really good. I mean, we've been seeing some athletes coming through here that we haven't seen in a long time, and we're getting really good players. And we got 3 top 300, these are ESPN, 3 top 300 quarterbacks that are freshmen that are just coming in this year, which we've never had.
Which, if you're going to win in the pack, you got to have a hot quarterback.
You do, and we got the second. He's out of El Cajon, which is right outside of San Diego. We got the second rated quarterback in the country. I think he's a dual threat, which we've never seen a guy that could play QB like that come here in forever. And so we got this guy, and we have a couple more guys. Last name's Yellen. He's out of Oregon, pretty highly rated quarterback, and another guy out of California. So we got 3 hotshot quarterbacks coming in, and they're going to have a QB battle with a redshirt junior out of Texas who was a 4-star. He's pretty good. He just hasn't seen playing time because we had a 3-year starter that graduated, and I think he's signed, with the Green Bay Packers as a unsigned, undrafted free agent. But so we got a lot of QBs. We got a running back coming back who led the Pac-12 in rushing. He's a stud out of Texas that we got, and so he led the Pac-12 in rushing, and so he's looking really good for us. Our O-line's pretty decent. The main question that we have is really going to be the defense. We lost a lot of guys to either transfer or graduation in the secondary and on the defensive line, and that's where our season is pretty much going to be determined, is right there. Because on the offensive side of the ball, we'll be okay. But as far as the defense, that's going to be suspect because we have a lot of young guys. We did have a freshman defensive player of the year. He's a stud out of California. I can't remember his name now, but he was a stud, and he had a really good year. Our linebacking core is good, but the secondary and defensive line, I mean, that's really going to tell the tale, and that's just kind of an unknown right now.
You guys had a big win last year over Michigan State. Which,
that was looking good. I mean,
what a schizophrenic program Michigan State.
Michigan State
really
was supposed to be really good on defense, but they're
the Auburn of the North. I mean, as far as really trying to gauge which direction that program's aimed in.
ASU is really doing and I'll get into it a little bit later, but ASU is doing a really good job of scheduling some really good teams in different conferences. We scheduled just recently a home and home with Mississippi State. We scheduled a home and home with LSU. That's coming up. We just got done with this year. We'll be done with. We actually go up to East Lansing this year, so it's a home and home. So we're going to go up to Michigan State this year. But they've been when teams come in from the Midwest, especially the Big Ten, we do a pretty good job. We protect our home turf pretty well. They're not used. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Arizona when it's August out, but it's hot as shit.
It is.
And these Big Ten teams come in here and they just get bogged down, and you can just see them after the third quarter. They just get gassed. And
you ain't gonna have that. Hey, you're not gonna face that playing LSU though. LSU. I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans in the summertime. Jesus Christ, that's hot.
It's
a different kind of hot too.
When Hurricane Katrina happened, they had to reschedule the game. It was originally supposed to be in Baton Rouge. They came to Tempe, and that was when Jamarcus Russell was a quarterback. And it was his last year, and that was a hell of a game. ASU wound up losing. It was crazy. Jamarcus Russell goes back. It's like 4th and freaking 25 or something. Throws a freaking it was like a Hail Mary up at the end zone. He wound up getting and grabbing it and beating ASU by, I think it was like 6 or 7 or something like that. It was a hell of a game.
Hey, quick question for both of you, because I got to ask this. What do you think is going to be a bigger surprise if ASU comes out and wins their typical seven games, which would be a success for someone who's come out of coaching for that long of a lull, getting the program where he wants it? Or do you think Les Miles over at Kansas, another great head coach that's been gone for a while, him winning 5 games. Which one's a bigger success story to you?
Miles.
I think if Miles wins 4 games, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Kansas is
garbage.
In way worse shape.
Yeah, easily probably one of the worst. It's not even close. I mean, they're definitely one of the worst Power 5 programs.
Well, Austin, we're going to give you a chance to go ahead and say what you said you would talk about something later.
Because this later.
Because we're fixing to hang up on you here in a minute.
So with I don't know if you guys have been noticing the type of coaching staff that Herm is getting together. He's gotten together Antonio Pierce, who played in the NFL for a number of years. He played for the Giants. He's a linebacker. He was coaching at a high school team in California called Cal Poly, who was one of the premier high school teams in the country. He got him.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
To get on the coaching staff. Yep. He got what's his name? Kevin Mawai. He was a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, played for the Jets, on the staff. He just hired Marvin Lewis, who was the head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals for a number of years, like 16 years.
So he's got some good names around him, it sounds like. Yeah.
So he's getting a bunch of guys in there, and he's really selling this type of program to these kids and saying, hey, look, we obviously have this X amount of years, coaching, playing, whatever, and if you want to get to the NFL, this is a great place where you can learn how to do that because we've been there. And a lot of kids are buying into it. I mean, the class of 2020 that's going to be coming in for ASU is pretty impressive. They got a lot of 4 and a couple of 5-star guys coming in. They got Chad Johnson's son coming here. They got Ryan Clark, who played for the Steelers. He got his kid coming here out of Louisiana. They just recruited a guy out of Florida, out of Tampa Bay, that was out of 4-star.
Well, Austin,
never get guys
we hate to have to cut you off, but we've run way over. We're definitely going to pick this conversation up when the season starts. You going to come back and talk with us?
Yeah.
Aren't you going to? He's going to be on the Pack segment too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Austin's coming back. We're going to hear more about it. Austin, we really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun. It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to do it more often. Take care, brother.
Great. All right, you guys.
Find Smacking Off the podcast on Facebook and on YouTube. And don't forget to watch our regular Facebook Live weekly episode on Sunday 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific.